Hello, second grade Smarties, and welcome to Unit 4, Week 2, Day 1 of Fundations. So we are going to go ahead and get started with our drill sounds. Here we go. G, game, G. Q, U, queen, qu. M, man, All right, and let's go to our vowels. A, apple, ah. E, ed, eh. I, itch, ih. O, octopus, ah. U, up, All right, and let's go to our glued sounds that we learned about that are closed syllable exceptions. All right, here we go. IND, find, IND. ILD, wild, iled. OLD, cold, old. OLT, colt, olt. OST, post, oast. All right, so those were our closed syllable exception glued sounds. Those are tricky because the vowel sounds in the IND and ILD are saying their name, but our glued sounds that have that O, olt, old, and oast, they are also saying the name of O. All right, and we are going to finish up our drill sounds with doing our R-controlled vowels in some of our vowel teams. All right, here we go. A, R, car, R, fantastic. O, R, horn, or, great job. E, R, her, I, R, bird, You are burn, What does ER, IR, and UR all say? They all say So whenever we see a word that has ER, IR, or UR, when we see those letters next to each other, they all say Fantastic. And let's do some vowel teams. We're only going to do a few today. All right, here we go. I, bait, A. Y, play, A. Jeep, E. Eat, E. Key, E. Give yourselves a round of applause. We are going to move on to our lesson today. So last time that we met together, so if you go to our school, we had fall break last week, but if you're here watching this video, hello, but we talked about suffixes. Suffixes are letters, are groups of letters that go at the end of the word to tell us a meaning. So we explored ES, and that is when I have more than one thing. I can add S to let me know that I have more than one thing. I add ing to the end of some words to tell me I'm doing something right now. When I add ed, that means I'm doing something in the past, and we're going to actually talk more about ed today. If I add er or est to the end of the word, to the end of a base word, that means I am comparing things. So today we are going to be practicing spelling, reading, and finding out what ed can say at the end of a word. So for example, I am going to write a word on my board. So So I would read this as rent, rent, rented. My base word is rent, and my suffix is ed. If I see ed at the end of a base word, that tells me I rent in the past. I've already done it. So rent, rented. In this word, what does that ed sound like? It sounds like id. It sounds like an ID, right? So some words that have that suffix ed are going to say id. Rent, rented. All right, let's look at another word that has that suffix ed. Now, this word, the ed is going to sound different at the end. And sometimes, friends, if you're having a hard time figuring out what that ed is going to sound like, try to use the different ways that it can sound and see which one makes the most sense. So, for example, I have the word jump as my base word. Jump, jumped. Ooh, what did that ed sound like? Jump, jumped. If I jumped on the trampoline, that means I jump in the past. I already did it. Jump, jumped. Now, the last time we read a word that had ed, it said id. Let's see if id fits here. Jump, jumped. Do we say it like that? No. Maybe jump, jumped. No, that doesn't work either. Jump, jumped. So sometimes that ed can sound like a T. It can sound like the letter T. So jump, jumped. You say the word. Good job. That means I jump in the past. All right, I have another word where that ed can sound different at the end. This base word is fill. Ooh, and it has a bonus letter, so I add that start to the top. Fill. And if I fill in the past, it becomes filled. But remember, what suffix tells me I did something in the past? Ed. So fill, filled. What did the ed suffix sound like at the end of this word? It just sounded like d. It just sounded like d. So, and remember, friends, if you're having a hard time tapping out that word, that base word with the suffix, pick which one makes the most, think about which one makes the most sense. Fill, filled, fill, filt, or fill, filled. He filled the bucket with candy. So that ed can sound like id, t, or d. All right, friends, here is what I need you to do right now. I need you to pause this video and get your whiteboard because we are going to practice making some words with that suffix ed. So pause the video and then come back with your board and marker. All right, guys, so the first word that we are going to build together is spill. Spill is our base word, so tap that out. Ul. Ooh, and I hear that ul at the end after a short vowel, so it gets a bonus letter. And I want to say I spill in the past. What is that going to become? Spill, spilled. Ooh, what suffix can sound like d at the end? That ed. So spill, spilled. Spill is my base word. Ed is my suffix. It tells me I did something in the past. And what letter or letters did that ed sound like? Spill, spilled. It sounded like a D. Good job. All right, here's our next word. Our next word is hunt, hunted. He hunted for the best costume. Hunted. All right. Hunt. Hunted. All right, I'm going to go ahead and underline my base word and circle my suffix. All right, show me in 3, 2, 1. Hunt, hunted. What does ed sound like at the end of hunted? It sounds like d. It sounds like a short I and a D. Hunt, hunted. That tells me I did it in the past. Fantastic. All right, and our next word is blink. Blinked. So b, o, and then there's that glued sound ink, like pink. B, o, ink. And I blink in the past, I add ed. So blink, blinked. All right, so blink, we have that blend B-L, and then we have the glued sound I-N-K, pink, ink, bull, ink, blink. And if I already blink, it's blinked. What does that ED sound like at the end of blinked? Blinked. It sounds like a T. So remember, friends, if you see that ED at the end, it can say id, d, or t. Think about which one makes the most sense. All right, Smarties, and we have a word of the day. So you will need your blue monster student journal for this next part. All right, I'm going to go ahead and write our word of the day. I'm going to tap this out. S-w-e-l, swell, swelled. Swelled. So this word has what suffix? It has ed. So it tells me I did something in the past, right? So swelled, swelled. What does swell mean? If I think about a balloon, a water balloon, the water balloon swelled with water. So swell means to get bigger. So swell means to get bigger. So, but if I add ed, it tells me it was getting bigger in the past. It means it already happened. And swelled, what does ed say at the end? Swell, swelled. It sounds like a D. Swelled. Swell, swelled. All right, friends, and go ahead and get your student notebook out. Miss Mason's going to get hers out. And I am going to turn to page 59. We already have some vocabulary words that start with S. So we're going to start on our new page for swelled. So s-w-e-l-d. Swelled. Remember that suffix is ed. It just sounds like a D. Swell, swelled. Now I'm going to make my own sentence. Go ahead and create your own if you want that challenge. Remember, our sentences start with an uppercase letter. We put finger spaces between our words and we end with punctuation. So I'm writing the sentence, the balloon swelled with water. The balloon swelled with water. Okay, and I am going to underline my base word, circle my suffix ed, and I know that ed says d at the end. The balloon swelled with water. All right, friends, when you finish that student notebook entry, don't forget to send a picture of it to me in Seesaw. And we are going to wrap up today's lesson with some new trick words. All right, so we are going to start with our first trick word. And this is the trick word sure. What's the trick word? Sure. Now remember, trick words are words that we just have to know. So sure, it sounds like there's a sh at the end. It sounds like there's an sh, but is there an sh? No. So this is one of those words that we just have to know. Sure. What's the word? Sure. Let's skywrite it. Here we go. S-U-R-E. Sure. Let's write it on our arms. Here we go. S-U-R-E. Sure. What was that word? Sure. I am sure that we have school today. Sure is another word for I am certain. I am 100% correct. All right. Our next word, our next trick word is use. What's this word? Use. It sounds like we have the trick word Y-O-U, with a Z at the end. But this is a trick word. It's a word we just have to know. This is the word use. I will use a pencil to write. All right, let's skywrite use. U-S-E, use. What was that word? Use. All right, let's write it on our legs. Here we go. U-S-E, use. What was the word? Use. And our last one, what is that suffix? ED. What does that tell me I did? I use in the past. So this is used. We just added a D. We didn't add an extra E. If we have a base word that has an E at the end, we just add that D if we did it in the past. Use, used. All right, let's skywrite it. U-S-E-D, used. Let's write it on our head this time. U-S-E-D, used. She used her pencil to write the sentence. All right, Smarties, as always, keep that growth mindset. Good learners do hard things, and I will see you tomorrow with another lesson. Happy learning, and bye.